Hello, this is It's Not Just Cricket live on the Cricket Smash YouTube channel. Thanks very much if you're watching us live. If not, we will be a podcast, audio podcast in about an hour or so. So don't worry, you won't miss anything. Matt Kabir, Floyd here with Azeem, Rafiq. We're going to reflect on the day's play at Adelaide, day one of that third test match. Crucial test for England. And Ben Stokes, Azeem, said he wanted England to show a bit of dog, a bit of fight in this test match. 326 for 8 is the score at the end of the day. So England have taken 8 wickets on a pretty flat deck, having lost the toss. Wasn't quite full Rottweiler, was it? But did England show a little bit of dog there?
Yeah, look, I think, lose a toss. Australia decide to bat first on a hot day in Adelaide on a flat pitch. You need your bowlers to run in and put an effort in. And I think, firstly, Jofra Archer, I thought from ball one was just absolutely outstanding. I think he had a brilliant day. I think he led the attack. His pace was up. The way England got their wickets, I think that's more on Australia. But the fact that they are in a position, I think, at the end of the day, which you would bite your hand off, bite the hand off for, you would say they have shown some fight. And it's, what they look like, Matt? They look like a team that is just about ready to start the Ashes. And where have we heard that before?
Might be a bit late, but hopefully not. I want to touch on what you said about Australia there. What were those shots? I mean, did Australia today really miss a chance to bury England and pretty much put the Ashes beyond reach?
Yeah, we should have been looking at 400 for 3-4 maximum. England had, like I said, Jofra was a class above. But apart from that, England were pretty average at best, and at times even worse than that. And if England had played some of the shots that Australia played, there would be absolute clamour for the England batters. Labuschagne, Cameron Green, throughout the batting lineup, I can only think of 2 dismissals where actually, 1.5 actually. Weatherall got done. Jofra has got the wood over him. Inglis, I think Josh Tongue just ran it back. But even that, he's trying to run it down to third man. Apart from that, that was some pretty ridiculously average batting. Obviously, full marks to Alex Carey. What a knock.
Yeah, we'll get on to him. Bit of a controversial moment, which has just appeared in the last hour or two. We'll get onto that in a moment. But just going back to Jofra, do you think he was a bit fired up today? Because I felt he got some pretty unjustified criticism for running in and bowling fast, or the fastest he bowled in that test at the Gabba. Steve Smith sledged him. Some of the ex-Aussie players said, why is he running in and bowling so fast when there's nothing on the line? Personally, I thought I'd rather he comes in and does that than come in and bowl 120 when the game is lost. But it felt like today, he felt like he had a point to prove, and didn't he bowl really well?
Yeah, listen, I think he got a lot of criticism. A lot of it was unjust. He got criticism about bringing a pillow in to the dressing room and that being pictured.
What's that? Who cares? I don't care if someone's bringing a pillow in.
Well, it's Australian cricket. It's Australian media. It's that's what they do. And these are the little things that get picked up when your team performs the way England has performed. And I think England has been a gift to Australian media from the minute, or even a few weeks before that they landed. And that part of it, I think they've got, they've just got it wrong. They've just given them sound bites after sound bites. And Jofra got it for no reason whatsoever. The one thing I would say is I really enjoyed the fact that he did run in and bowl fast at the end of that game. But I didn't like the fact that he was trying to sledge, because day before, and, some of the Australian ex-players, Ricky Ponting in particular, he was right. When the game was on the line the day before, Jofra was bowling 130. But even that, I don't put that down to Jofra. I put it down to the fact that he's carrying an attack that is pretty average, and England's batters who don't want to give him a break. And today he was absolutely brilliant. Even at the end, when he, some of the criticism towards him just makes you think, hold on a minute. Even at the end, I think his last over was like not as fast as the whole day. And on commentary, it's like body language and etc. etc. The guy's literally carrying a pretty average bowling attack all on himself. Then let's not forget, he's hardly played any cricket himself. So listen, he was absolutely outstanding. Skill, pace, heart, leading, everything that you want from the leader of your pack. He was that today.
Yeah, that body language thing, I hate hearing it. It's a real stereotype thing associated with him, and I do not like hearing. I think it's absolute nonsense, and it's an easy thing to say. It's lazy to say something like that. One thing I want to know, put your spinner's cap on, and Will Jacks ended up picking up a couple of wickets, but he was very expensive, very inconsistent. He's a part-time off spinner. That's what you get, I guess. But just looking at it, it did turn a little bit. Is it a bit of a worry, really, that the Nathan Lyon could get something out of this pitch, and then we're going to see a big difference in what they've got in terms of firepower as a spinner and what we've got as this game goes on?
Yeah, well, he might get something out of the pitch. He is going to get a lot out of the pitch, a pitch that Will Jacks got a little bit out of. I think Will Jacks, to be fair to him, he did as I would expect him to do. It's for me, the problem is the people that have selected him. He had men out on boundary on both sides. He bowled good balls, and then they followed up with average balls, and they went for singles, and then whenever it felt like Australia wanted to, they went for him and got their boundaries as well. So I don't think it's on Will Jacks the way it played out for him. I think he did as well as you'd expect him to do. He's a part-time bowler bowling on the first day pitch at Adelaide. But I think you will see that big difference when Nathan Lyon bowls. And I don't know what. The one thing watching it with England, which I was very surprised at, but England have this tendency to be so quick with change of plans, or doing not the most simple thing, is how much they bowl round the wicket. There's already going to be Mitchell Starc that's going to provide footmarks for Nathan Lyon, and then England bowls so much round the wicket, especially in that first hour when it was swinging to two left-handers. I was just a bit like, really? Do you really need to be bowling around the wicket? So that's another part that, if England keep bowling as much as they have bowled around the wicket, and Mitchell Starc is obviously going to be there, then footmarks are going to make it really, really difficult for the England right-handed batters.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I think they bowled a bit too much around the wicket to the left-handers in general. I want to go back to that Carey thing I referred to. Now, it's just come to light that there was a big appeal against Alex Carey. England were convinced he'd nicked it when he was on 72, went for a cut shot, big noise. Jamie Smith convinced straight away, just does the review sign. They send it upstairs and have a look at Snicko, and Snicko looked like it was out of sync. So there was a big spike, but it came before the ball went past the bat. Now, at the time, I just thought, okay, maybe that was something else. It was a different noise. But it's come to light that the Snicko operators, BBG Sports, I think they're called, have admitted there was an error in the technology. And Carey himself said, well, I thought I might have nicked it. So it turns out it was a big mess up. And actually, he should have been given out on 72. Went on to get 106, didn't he, in the end? England could have bowled out Australia tonight. Probably would have bowled them out, I would suggest, if that had been given out. That could be a big moment. Could you imagine if this was on the other foot and we wouldn't hear the end of it from the Australians?
Yeah. You say when you were watching it, you just thought, okay, it might be something else. Actually, when I was watching it, sometimes the spike comes after, and that would have been fine because they've been told it can come one frame late. But this wasn't like a little sound, little scratch. There was a proper spike. So I at the time it didn't make sense, because also when they reviewed it, Carey and his partner, when they got in the middle, he more or less sort of I think he nodded in a way to say, I think I've hit it. And then he's gone into his press conference and admitted it. And once he's admitted it, then I'm guessing all the journalists have gone to the technology and they've been directed to the company, and they've got no choice but to accept it. That spike wasn't just some sort of sound somewhere else. That was clearly a nick. Very, very difficult for England to take. Big impact on the game from a timing point of view, because England have to come tomorrow. Australia last test match in similar situation came and put runs on the board. So and if England just had to come back tomorrow, it would have been a massive difference in the state of the game. So, but from an England point of view, I think they've just got to more or less decisions. They've got to disregard that. They can't get consumed in it, because they've got a big day tomorrow, a huge day. And if they get it right, here's another opportunity for England. Let's see if they can take it this time around.
Yeah, well, let's hope that's not a big moment in the match and it's a really tight game and we lose by like 20 runs or something, because a lot of people will be talking about it. Let's finish then on looking ahead to tomorrow. When you look at that pitch and how slow and benign it looks, should England be looking at it and say, if England bowl out Australia for 350, which I think would be the target, wouldn't it, overnight? Should England be looking at that and thinking, if we bat properly, we can get 450 plus on it?
England should literally be keeping this game very, very simple. Tomorrow and the third day, it's going to be the best time to bat. England should be batting normally. England should be looking to bat once. And if England do all of them things and do it in a controlled manner, their bowlers will have a rest. They'll get runs on the board. They'll have a lead. And this Australian team is not that good. Put them under a little bit of pressure. We've seen it today. Suddenly, repeatable couple of more poor shots, and their press will turn on them. So absolutely, I think England should be batting normally and looking to bat once, bat long. But sadly, I don't think England's going to do that. I think England's going to do what England. I think they'll do well. I think they'll get 30s and 40s and then 60s and 70s, and then I think they'll try and put the pressure back on Australia. Take the game to them, all of them sound bites, and within that, I think they'll provide opportunities to Australia. And one difference of, I think, bowling attacks and difference in the series is Nathan Lyon will have his ball tomorrow, which won't be easy for England.
Yeah. Well, let's give them a chance. Let's see. I've got a feeling England might rein it back in a little bit tomorrow, given what they've said in the press and everything. But they are up against a better Australian bowl attack with not just Lyon and Pat Cummins as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting what happens tomorrow. And we'll be back, of course, to give another little bonus Ashes episode after the day's play. We'll try and get on a little bit earlier tomorrow, pretty much as soon as the last ball is bowled, which is, what is that, around sort of 7:30 a.m. UK time or something like that. It's Not Just Cricket. Thanks very much for listening or watching wherever you are. We'll see you tomorrow. Come on, England.